Hola amigos, buenos días señor, señoritas, niños y niñas, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Teddy here. And just take a guess, I would say, as to where I might be today. And I'm sure some of you are saying, well, obviously you're along the Mazatlan. And you would be partially correct. I am, however, in the land of smiles, Thailand, on Jomtien Beach, and I'm walking along their equivalent of the Mazatlan, or the boardwalk. They are working on it right now. It's you'll see a lot of construction as they are rebuilding part of it, putting in new lighting, new drainage on the streets, but it basically is the same thing as the Mazatlan is to Mazatlan. It is a nice area to walk, restaurants, bars, the whole deal along the beach. And today is a little bit overcast, still kind of warm, but not ungodly hot, and not overly humid. I am walking right now on the boardwalk just across from the very famous Jomtien night market. They're advertising the Pattaya Marathon 2025, which will be next week. So that'll be something I'll take in. I am currently, obviously, out of Mazatlan for about 6 weeks. This trip I'm going to be visiting Bangkok, which I have already been to for a couple nights. I'll be back there in another, I guess, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I'm going to the island of Phuket. I'll be staying down there for a couple weeks, and I'll bring you some tape from there. There we go, tape. Talk about old school. Anyway, let me rephrase that. We'll take some video down there. But this is the famous Jomtien night market. Now, night markets, we do have them, obviously, in Mazatlan. But in Thailand, they are a big, big deal. This place will get packed starting at about 5 o'clock this evening. The food stalls are here. The food it's street food, it's cheap. A lot of Thai food, obviously. There are some, you can get some Western things as well. But they will have live music. And there are these night markets all over town. And in just about every town you go to, you will find some form of night market where people gather and have their evening meals. And it's inexpensive. I came down the other night and had a really nice pad thai with chicken cooked right in front of me. And I mean, it was enough for 2 meals, and it cost me 70 baht, which is a little over $2. And I had 2 meals out of that. Very, very tasty. Very, very tasty. Anyway, we'll continue walking. I'm headed, this would be kind of south down the boardwalk. And there's a place across the street that I stayed in last year. And I think you can see from the name, it's the Copacabana, the hottest spot east of Havana. Barry Manilow for you. But it's a wonderful, wonderful resort hotel called the Copacabana. They have 3 different pools. Actually, let's see. They have the ground pool, which is amazing. Then they have a pool kind of in the middle. They have a pool at the very top. I took some pictures last year and put them up, so one of these days I'll drag those out again. It is a lovely place to stay. The units are very, very nice, very modern. Most of them are kind of small, but it's good. One of the things about Pattaya, Jomtien, and many of the places, you don't spend a whole lot of time in your room anyway. You're usually out at the beach, and kind of like Mazatlan, you're walking around, you're doing something, so not too bad. But we're continuing down the way, and one of the things you will notice as well, you will see a lot of expats. This is a very popular area for retirees and visitors from many foreign lands. You'll see a lot of obviously British, Australian, and not surprising, a heavy number of Russians. As a matter of fact, a lot of the street signs or the signs on businesses will have wording not only in Thai, in English, and they will also have Russian. So that tells you a bit of the types of people that come here. Across the street you will see something that you're probably familiar with if you're from the States, and that is the ever famous 7-Eleven. If I were a visitor from another planet and I landed in Thailand, let's say, I would think that the 7-Elevens were developed here and were born here. They will be, I can guarantee you, within about every 3 to 4 blocks you will find a 7-Eleven. I've been walking now for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. There's a 7-Eleven. I can see the sign right behind me. I see this one, and there's one up here about another 2 blocks. So you will find the 7-Elevens everywhere. The difference, I would say, between 7-Elevens here and, say, 7-Elevens in the States is they are more than a convenience store here. I mean, they're still a convenience store, obviously, but they also provide for many more grocery type items that people need. As a matter of fact, the condo complex where I'm staying this month, on the ground floor and in the front of the building, there's a 7-Eleven, a good sized 7-Eleven. So, I can walk right down there and buy grocery items, along with the normal 7-Eleven stuff, the drinks, the chips, the snacks, and all that. But they carry a lot of grocery type items so that you can, take them back. If you decide you want to cook something in your unit, you can do it. One of the things about that is that it's almost not worth it, because the cost here of going out for a meal, you can actually do it as cheap or cheaper than trying to stock your condo and cook. Now, maybe have some morning sweet rolls or something in the condo, and coffee and stuff like that, and some drinks, and maybe some, chips and things for evening snacks. But what you find is that you go out to dinner because it's just cheaper and easier, and you don't have to clean up, you don't have to do any of that stuff. So that's kind of cool. Let's just get another shot of the beach. We have people out already in the water, and it is overcast today, like I said, and you can clearly see that. But you know, other than that, it's quite comfortable. There's a nice breeze blowing off the water. I have a feeling that we're in for some rain later on. I can see clouds building off in the distance. And after all, this is rainy season. So it would not be, you know, too unusual to have some rain today. Here we are feeding the squirrels. Hi, buddy. Here's the queen of ice cream, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't know where she lived. Well, here it is, the queen of ice cream, directly across the street. How about them apples? I'll have to come by here and grab a bit of ice cream, maybe this evening if it's not raining. We'll see what that's like. As is the case in Mazatlan, for all of you folks there, you know there's a lot of construction going along the Malacon. A lot of high rises going up. Well, it's not much different here. They are building. And, you know, some say that's good, but, you know, some inevitably are opposed. It's like anywhere, you know, progress has, it's a double-edged sword. You know, yes, there will be jobs. Yes, there will be money flowing from not only the construction, but when they're finished and completed, people will be buying and renting these condos and coming and spending their money. And there will be winners and losers in that environment, as there always are. So you just have to prepare for it, because there's not a lot you can do to stop it. Matter of fact, that's one of the issues. I was chatting with Alma over WhatsApp earlier today about the protests that have been going on in Mexico City and some of those surrounding areas, where folks are up in arms, literally, about gentrification of Mexican neighborhoods. I thoroughly understand their fears, and I understand the concern. I totally disagree with the violence that has been shown in some of these protests. I don't believe violence gets you anywhere. And if these people were to really seriously think about what they're doing and what's happening, they would realize that tourism and, you know, visitors, gringos, whatever you want to call, have a good side as well as a downside, and so you have to try to balance that in some way, shape, or form. And I get it. It's hard. It's very hard, because I mean, we see it in the U.S. all the time. We see places that used to be affordable are now out of reach for most Americans. And is it a drag? Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, it's the way I felt back in the late 70s and into the early 90s, when the town I was living in became that way. That was Aspen, Colorado. And you look at it today, and a normal person can't afford to live there. Basically, you can't afford to go there and live. So you're forced out. I get it. But, you know, let's sit down and have conversations and try to figure out solutions. You know, don't take up arms. Don't ransack restaurants. The thing that bugs me about that is I saw the videos of some of the protesters breaking into, ransacking, and terrorizing restaurants. Well, these restaurants are owned by your neighbors, you know, by local Mexicans. So you're destroying their business because you have a gripe. And I think the better way to approach that is to take those gripes and work with officials to try to find solutions. And yes, I get it. There are visitors who act outrageously. There are those who come to places, whether it be Mazatlan or Puerto Vallarta or Mexico City or Jomtien, Thailand, or Bangkok, Thailand, and they some can have a tendency to try to make it look and feel like where they're from, and that's not right. They should not do that. I agree. That's not the way to approach it. You're coming into somebody's neighborhood, then act civil and act like you are a visitor. Treat people with respect. That goes a long way everywhere. I don't care where you are. But anyway, I don't want to rant too much on that. But yes, there are things going on here that could turn into the same type of situation. But we, you know, I just want to travel and enjoy life. So, you know, be somebody when you go someplace. Be respectful, be kind, understand that you're in their world. So adapt. You'll find it very, very interesting, very uplifting, and you will find that, hey, as human beings, we have a lot in common, regardless of where you're from, okay? So, you know, enjoy. Some more places. This is an interesting spot, I thought, for those of you who remember U.S. television back in the 70s, and a show called The Dukes of Hazzard. Well, here you go. This is probably where they would hang out. This is Daisy D's, and if you look at the picture, looks a lot like the Daisy Dukes. One of the many restaurants right along the Jomtien boardwalk area. You will see pharmacies, barbers, anything that you need, you will find it. Right now there's a situation in Thailand where they're in the middle of changing the cannabis laws. A couple years ago they legalized cannabis and took it off the controlled substance thing, and apparently there are those in government who think that went a little too far and that things got out of hand. So they have gone back now, put it back on the control substance list, so that you have to now have a medical certificate to purchase and use cannabis. So the problem that it created is that you had so many cannabis shops that sprung up, and now they are having to totally change their business model. In order to have a cannabis shop now, you have to be licensed, you have to have a medical doctor on board, so you've become essentially a clinic. And you can only purchase from the licensed cannabis growers. So a lot more difficult, a lot more hoops to jump through for people who are in this business. So there's a lot of anxiety around that right now. Hey, buddy. As you probably see in Mazatlan, you will notice a lot of stray dogs. They call them soy dogs here because they basically live on the streets. And soy is the word for street. That's S-O-I. So we are coming down to, we're getting to the southern part of Jomtien Beach. And I will be taking a left turn up here because I'm going to head back to my place and relax for a little while, see what the weather's going to do, and then I will, go from there. Probably do some more videos as we go. I'm going to wait for some of these bikes to get by, and then I will head up this soy right here. There's another 7-Eleven. How many have I passed? I would say I've probably passed 6 or 8 in just the 20 minutes or so that I've been doing this. Going up the soy, you will see places for rent. You will see, as I said, barber shops, massage shops, all of these places do lovely food at reasonable prices. So in the evening you will see many folks down here enjoying the evening meal, having a beer or 2 or 3. And this, again, this is just one of the little soys. Here we have a place that's advertising American breakfast for 129 baht. Keep in mind the baht, or the Thai currency, is now $1 equals just over 32 baht. So it's while it's down a little bit, the dollar's down just a little bit, it's still a very good value. Very good value. See, a lot of the upper floors here are guest houses, renting rooms, generally pretty inexpensive. Swadee krab. One of the things you can do here, just about any time of the day or evening, is come get a massage, and it's reasonable. Swadee krab. And I'm sure many of you have heard and know about the, I guess, I don't know, the darker side, if you will, of places like Pattaya and some places in Bangkok. And Swadee krab. Hello, say. And yes, those places exist. Obviously, if you want it, if you want the down and dirty nitty gritty, it's available in these places. For myself, I don't really drink. You know, I mean, I occasionally will have a beer or a glass of wine or something, but I'm not a big drinker. And so I don't go to the bars very often. If I do, it's just to meet a friend or something and have one beer and then go see what else is happening. But, you know, it's here. If you want it, you can go and get it. Up to you. I'm walking by this place called Welcome Jomtien Beach Hotel. It amazes me. This was the same last year. As I would walk by here, and I would look. It's a huge place, and there's never anything in the parking lot. I mean, a few little cars. But I walked by yesterday. It's open. So I'm going to have to find out the situation here. Look at all those rooms. I don't understand this one. Looks like a very nice place. I don't know what it is. We'll figure that out. Have to go online and see if there's any info. But across the street is where I'm staying. It's a complex called Atlantis Resort. It is an older place. My guess is it's probably 25, 30 years old. You can tell. It is in varying shapes of repair, let's put it that way. There are some parts of it that are kept up pretty well, but there are also places that they need a lot of work. But it's, you know, there are units here reasonably priced, little one-bedroom units, you know, that you can get fairly economically, especially if you're going to do more. Well, you actually can't do weekly. The thing about Thailand is it's similar to a lot of other places, whereas unless you are licensed as a hotel, you can't rent nightly or weekly. You're basically stuck doing monthly, and that's the way this place is. Although there are people who try to game the system, and they will put it on Airbnb, and they'll rent you a week. You just have to hope that you don't get caught, because if you get caught, you get kicked out. You better have other plans. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off right here as I go into the main entrance, and we'll get back with you with another video here pretty soon. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy the day.